Engines roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens, captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll. We get ready to duke it out here this evening, as it is the Krafts Stuff LLC 265 live here from Texas Motor Speedway. Drivers out there on the racetrack laying down their quick times here for the qualifying session as it comes to a close here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway. This is one of our playoff races here on the season, so drivers that are a part of the playoffs looking for a great run, looking for a solid effort out there to maximize their day points-wise and trying to set themselves up to advance into the next round. So we'll keep an eye on all those drivers a part of our playoffs here this evening. Is 110 laps of racing action, 110 laps of wildness here at Texas, as everything is bigger in Texas here as these drivers get lined up down on the front straightaway. We get ready to set them loose. We get ready to rumble here in this one. And starting on the pole, quickest here in qualifying, it is the 76 right of Caleb McKinney. We're waiting for McKinney to load into the stream here as he's still down pit road. He's still waiting for his crew to get that car out and into the staging lane, as starting to his outside in that Fastenal 99 right is Christopher Muse. Starting in position number 3 in the Rockstar number 15 right, it's Cameron Combs, who will start there in second. To his outside in the RT3 Designs number 3 machine, it's Al Reed. Starting in position number 5 will be Adolfo Castillo there in that 5th position, and to his outside in the Krafts Stuff LLC number 60 machine, it's Johnny Thunders, who will start there in position number 6. Starting in 7th in the 7 right, that is Devin Black. To his outside in the Outcast Racing League Peacemaker Gaming, the Quantum Motorsports machine, it's Casey Gross, who will start there in 8th. Starting back in 9th in the 9 car, it is Tyler Humphrey. To his outside in the 12 machine, it is the poor boy himself here, Poor Boy Motorsports machine of Josh Bromfield. Bromfield rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Then we see his Poor Boy Motorsports teammate, the 81 of Anthony Garland. Garland will start in position number 11 with Robert Tuiscu there to his outside in that RT3 Designs number 6 machine. Starting in position number 13 in the number 20 machine out there, the Mobile One Toyota, that is Ryan Haller. To his outside will be the 14 ride, that is Billy Jordan. Starting in the 15th position, that is Edward Belair. To his outside in the Quantum Motorsports Lawrence Tech University ride, that is the 70 of Mike Killingbeck. So 16 drivers here, 110 laps of racing action here from Texas Motor Speedway. In each and every one of these drivers, they are getting ready to rumble here this evening as the Quantum Peacemaker Gaming number 76 ride is Caleb McKinney out in front, ready to see this green flag fly. He is ready to be set loose here this evening as my boy Chris Muse from that outside the pole position here, coming in with that like on the stream. I appreciate that, Mr. Muse, showing the love here in this one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As here we go, the pace car makes that hard left-hand turn, and we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation here from Texas Motor Speedway as the 76 of Caleb McKinney sees that green flag fly. So the green flag quickly into the air here as McKinney tries to lead us down through 1 and out of 2, looking to clear that 99 of Chris Muse, but Muse holding strong to his outside. Unfortunately, had the lift right there, just ever so slightly, going to lose a little bit of momentum down the back straightaway and down into 3. Able to use that inside lane, able to shoot right down low. The 76 of Caleb McKinney will hold on to the race lead as here comes Cameron Combs looking to take over position number 2 as McKinney leads lap number 1 here this evening. So McKinney out in front early on here, able to get that extra point here for leading a lap, and quickly gets consumed here as here comes Cameron Combs. Combs not waiting around, not being patient at all. So here with Al Reed, you see Reed already trying to make some moves here himself. He's right on the back bumper of that 15 ride, trying to help him get to the front of the field, hoping to try to make a couple passes himself as they're door to door here for the race lead. Down across the line, McKinney will stay just barely in front of that 15 ride as Cameron Combs down low this time through 1 and 2. Looks like he is going to complete that pass. He'll slide up in front of that number 76, and it's now that Rockstar Energy drink, the number 15 machine of Cameron Combs, who leads us down the back straightaway. So Combs out in front, McKinney trying to get back down to his inside, but they got that door shut in a quick curry. Is down across the line. Our new race leader here this evening, it's Cameron Combs. So Combs leads lap number 3 out there on the racetrack. McKinney now back to second as here comes that 3 machine. Al Reed right there in that 3rd position, looking to try to hunt his way to the front here this evening as Chris moves back there in 4th. Adolfo Castello radio our top 5. And then we see Devin Black and Johnny Thunders. Devin and Johnny battling door to door here still for that 6th position on the racetrack. They are not backing down. Both these drivers started virtually right here, 6th and 7th on the racetrack, and neither one of these drivers wanting to give up an inch. Johnny continues to run some great laps there through the middle of the speedway. That number 7 ride, though, just rolling the inside to perfection here and just hanging right there with them, but down the back straightaway, able to get the run that he was looking for out of that 60 ride. And the Krafts Stuff number 60 of Johnny Thunders stays there in position number 6. Devin Black slides back to 7th here in this race as the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey looking to quickly try to work himself around that 7 machine as here comes Casey Groves. Here comes Anthony Garland now rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. So Anthony making some early moves and now inside the top 10. Robert Tuwiscu right there as well. Robert Tuwiscu right there as well in the 11th position. Ryan Haller back there in 12th as they were both all able to move up at least 1 position on the racetrack as Josh Bromfield, unfortunately early on here in that Poor Boy Motorsports Outcast Racing League number 12 ride, slides back into 13th. Edward Belair there in 14th with Billy Jordan and Mike Killingbeck bringing up the rear of the field. Now we're not used to normally seeing the 70 ride back here at the rear of the field here. Just did not qualify very good and then just did not get a good start here. But potentially just trying to play a little bit of strategy out there on the racetrack, knowing that this is a long race. There's going to be a couple stage breaks. There's going to be a couple opportunities to head down pit road, get some adjustments, work on that race car, and trying to get himself pointed back into a good position here this evening as we will see stage breaks at lap number 25 and lap number 50 here this evening. So a couple stages, a couple opportunities to earn that extra little bit of points here on the evening and trying to get every single point you can, trying to help work yourself into the next round of the playoffs. Going to be that key goal for each and every one of these drivers. Is out in front. Cameron Combs continuing to lead the way. Cameron at the front of the pack is Caleb McKinney back there in position number 2. Al Reed there in third with Chris Muse back in position number 4 and looking for more. Adolfo Castillo, Johnny Thunders, and now Tyler Humphrey up into the 7th as Devin Black slides back now into that 8th position. Casey Gross there in 9th, Anthony Garland there in 10th, and it's Ryan Holler on the move here. Holler up a couple spots here and now into 11th, just on the outside of the top 10 looking in, and he's looking to crash the party here and try to slide this 20 right up inside the top 10 here in a quick hurry as he looks to reel in and make the move down low underneath the 81. It's Anthony and Ryan gonna battle down into corner number 3. A big run right there for Ryan Holler. We'll see if he can carry that speed momentum down through corner 3 and 4 and make the move around that 81, but Anthony going to try to stay right there with him, not letting him run away with him. Now going to use that outside momentum, get that speed down the straightaway, looking to shoot down into corner number 1 here and keep this 20 right back there at bay. And as they continue to battle, Israel in this 6 right of Israel and Robert Duisky right into this fight here. Is finally we do see Ryan Holler able to make that pass, and Holler jumps up into position number 10. It's what's good, Wyatt Mickelson. Wyatt coming in, showing the love, says, let's go, Ryan Holler. Cheering on Mr. Holler here this evening. Well, you get a good look there at Ryan Holler making some moves and racing himself now inside the top 10 on the racetrack as Cameron Combs continuing to lead the way here over Caleb McKinney. As McKinney once again starting to hunt back down that rock star number 15 ride, but he's got Al Reed still all over him here as Al continues to try to find these runs, trying to make these moves out there on the racetrack. Seems like Cameron's car now starting to fall off here a little bit, in the 76 ride really starting to come to life. So this is going to be something to watch here throughout all these restarts and all these stages and everything else. Is it, who's going to be one of those drivers that kind of lays back, takes it easy for those first 5, 10, 15 laps out there on the racetrack, and then starts to use their stuff up, starts to put down some great lap times and trying to race their way to the front of the field. Sorry chat, I don't know why I'm yawning. Let's get a little caffeine into us there. Late night last night, late night, as Cameron Combs leads the way here in this one. Combs out in front with McKinney right there in second. Al Reed back in third as Chris Muse sits there in position number 4 and looking for more. Here is that silver bullet, the Fastenal ride. It's looking at the big moves down the back straightaway. Caleb McKinney getting the run and now dives down to the inside. Hero of Cameron Combs. Combs look to throw a couple blocks right there. Unfortunately, McKinney making some big moves down the back straightaway. Nothing was going to hold him back to get down to the inside and look to try to take this race lead back away from Cameron here this evening. As once again, they go door to door down into corner number 1 here at Texas Motor Speedway in the 76 of Caleb McKinney, looking to take this race lead back away, but Cameron Combs hanging on strong to the outside. But this is where that 76 is going to get a big run and big drive down to the inside of corner number 3, and nice and easy out of corner number 4. Looks like he's got that 15 right clear. He can slide up and throw that block in front of him as he will take that race lead back away, and it's Caleb McKinney who leads lap number 15 here this evening. As we'll inch closer and closer here to stage break number 1 as this race is going to move on quickly, Chad. I feel like we're going to click off a lot of laps in a quick hurry out there on the racetrack, especially if we can keep it clean and green out there on the speedway. Al Reed, Chris Muse, that 31 run of Adolfo Castillo, our top 5 all sitting pretty solidly in stage point categories right now. Johnny Thunders, they're in 6th with Tyler Humphrey, Devin Black, Casey Gross, and Ryan Holler. Our top 10 out there on the racetrack is Tuisku, Anthony Garland, Billy Jordan, Josh Bromfield back in 14th, Mike Killing back there in 15th, and it's Edward Belair back in the final position there, 16th on the racetrack for that number 25 ride. It's the Detroit Lions machine looking to try to race his way a little closer to the front of the field. Is my boy Russ Harold. What's good, Russ? Russ coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook. What's good, Russ? How are you, brother? How are you doing this evening? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday. As up here in Canada, it is the holiday weekend up here in Canada. I do believe it's, what do they call it down in the U.S.? Memorial Day? I think we just call it May 2-4 weekend, something like that. I don't know what it, I think maybe Victoria Day is the actual name of the holiday up here in Canada. So tomorrow is technically the holiday, but it's the long weekend for us. And then the U.S., I know you guys get the long weekend next weekend, so you guys get to celebrate Memorial Day and everything else. Let me take a look here. What in the world is it tomorrow? I do believe, yeah, it is Victoria Day. So Victoria Day up here in Canada for us this weekend. It's our long weekend. You guys get the long weekend next weekend. As Kurt Sponsler Jr. says, go Johnny Thunders, go! Get a win for Mom, he says. Get a win for Mom. That would be absolutely amazing in that Krafts Stuff LLC number 60 ride here in the Krafts Stuff LLC 265 here at Texas Motor Speedway. The series sponsored by that car right there, that 60 ride. He's got our league sponsor, our race sponsor here this evening, riding on board with him, and he's looking to try to get a good run, trying to put this 60 right up and into victory lane as Caleb McKinney continuing to lead the way. So Caleb, after falling back into second there for a little while, after probably about 10 or 15 laps, really started to put the pressure, started making those moves around that 15 line of Cameron Combs. Once he's gotten back out in front, he's opened up a solid half a second lead here and continues to try to stretch it out more and more and more here this afternoon as Caleb leads the way. Cameron Combs back there in second, a bit of a gap back to our third place drivers. It's a door-to-door battle. Chris Muse making the move around Al Reed. Reed signs back now into position number 4. Adolfo Castillo there in 5th with Johnny Thunders. Tyler Humphrey up into 7th. Casey Gross there in 8th. Devin Black, Ryan Huller, our top 10 out on the racetrack as of right now as we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1. So stage number 1 will come to a close here at the completion of lap number 25. Lap 25 is going to be the key one to keep an eye on for these drivers, as that's some more points and playoff points that can go into your back pocket that can help you potentially transfer through into the next round and potentially be a part of that Daytona 200 lap feature event here for our championship night. And that is a race you want to be a part of as not only just a competitor, but also just the battle for this championship out there, as it's always crazy. It's always right down to the wire. We've seen it so many times where drivers look to be, inches away from potentially having that championship, and then one of those other championship drivers just edges out in front by an inch or two and steals that championship away from them. As McKinney out in front, he's hoping to be one of those championship drivers here in a couple of weeks, as we do see Cameron Combs. He's now looking to try to hold off Chris Muse, as Muse really kind of held back there for quite a while. This 99 ride fell back quickly into about position number 4 or 5 there on the racetrack. Kind of just held his ground right there. Didn't really fall too far back, didn't really move too far forward, but for the 99, he is starting to put that throttle down. He's made the move around Al Reed and now making the move around Cameron Combs and looking to try to close that gap and hunt down our race leader here before the end of this stage. But he's got to get a move on here as these laps are winding down in a quick hurry. As Kurt Sponsler Jr. says, also rooting for my ESR teammates. Wish I could run with them today. Kurt, we wish you were out there on the racetrack, brother. We wish you were out there enjoying the fun and being a part of the race here this evening, man. We miss you out there on the racetrack, but hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday, a great Sunday, and hopefully you get to enjoy a little bit of the racing up here from the broadcast booth side of things. As down across the line, there you go, leading another lap, and there is the caution flag as stage number 1 will come to a close. Caleb McKinney able to win the first stage here this evening with Christopher Muse back there in second. Then we see the number 15, Cameron Combs, in third, Adolfo Castillo. Tyler Humphrey up into 5th, so Humphrey now into the 5th position. Casey Gross there in 6th. Al Reed unfortunately slid all the way back into 7th with Devin Black right behind them there in 8th. Johnny Thunders there in 9th. Ryan Huller rounding out our top 10, earning himself an extra point here this evening as well. There's Robert Tuiscu, Billy Jordan, Mike Killingbeck, Josh Bromfield, Anthony Garland, and Edward Belair, all unfortunately not getting any stage points here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing in just a few more moments, as Caleb McKinney out in front leading this race in the 99 rider. Chris Muse looking to try to take it away from him, looking to try to put himself up and into the winner's circle here this evening. Could be a big win here for Muse. Could be a huge win and a huge momentum gainer for so many of these drivers, knowing that they want to just continue to have these good good runs, put themselves into these positions to potentially pick up wins, and that's going to, get that consistency, keep getting these good runs, potentially could find yourself up and into that championship race and duking it out for that win or that good finish to seal that championship away from one of these other fast cats here this year. So here we go, lap 25. We did see the caution flag for our first stage break, and it looks like everybody is going to come down pit road. No one is going to stay out there on the racetrack, as tire fall off was pretty good right there. There's quite a bit of tire fall off for these drivers, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how much tires these guys are using, how often they're coming down pit road, and what the strategy calls may be here this evening, as you can really break this race up into probably about 3 pit stops here. You kind of get this first one, probably take another pit stop at the end of stage number 2, and then probably take your final pit stop, potentially your final pit stop, probably around that lap 75 marker. Kind of split that second stage in half, maybe somewhere around lap 80, where it's really kind of right in half there for that final stage out there on the speedway. So that's going to be a big call for a lot of these guys and what they want to do, whether it's stay out a little longer or come down a little early. If you can make it a fuel, you can try to leapfrog some drivers, try to get that opportunity to jump in front of them, and with the fresher tires, potentially could just open up a big lead for when they do come down pit side. They could be too far behind you to be able to hunt you down and take that spot back away. So could be right down to the wire, could be a nail biter here this evening from Texas Motor Speedways. We will get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. As Caleb McKinney leads the way here. McKinney out in front. The lights are still off the official iRacing pace car. We'll get them ready to rock and roll. I do believe this time by the start-finish line we should see the lights roll off of these race cars, and we will get ready to go back to battle here in this one, man. This could be a lot of fun. This is going to be so interesting to see what these drivers are going to be able to do, who's going to be able to put themselves into that winning situation here today. Here we go. Lights are off the official iRacing pace car, and next time by the start-finish line, we'll make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and that will unleash this field once again into the hands of the 76 of Caleb McKinney. Cameron Combs there to his outside. Adolfo Castillo there in third with Tyler Humphrey back in fourth. Casey Gross in that fifth position with Chris Muse back into position number 6. Al Reed there in 7. Josh Bromfield, Ryan Haller, and Robert Tuiscu are top 10 out there on the racetrack. Devin Black all the way back into position number 11 with Billy Jordan, Mike Killingbeck, Edward Bell Air, Anthony Garland, and Johnny Thunders bringing up the rear of the field here in this one. So we got them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. As out in front, it's Caleb McKinney who continues to lead the way. So McKinney getting ready for another big restart right here, ready to try to put this throttle down and open up that gap and try to just keep a little bit of breathing room between himself and the 15 ride and the rest of this field here this evening. As here we go, back down out of corner number 4. Here goes the pace car right now down pit road, making that hard left-hand turn that will hand this race lead and the control over to that number 76, and quickly early in that Geico restart zone gets back onto the throttle, gets a great launch and a great jump there over Cameron Combs and that number 31 of Adolfo Castillo. Is Cameron able to stay right there in front of that 31 machine? Now he's looking to try to put that pressure onto our race leader's back bumper. Early in that first stage, we did see the 76 kind of slide back a little bit. We saw the 15 of Cameron Combs jump up, take that race lead, and start to pull away there to late in the race. And we saw it with a few of these other drivers, just proving how difficult this racetrack is, how difficult the tire wear is, and how strong it's going to be, and how strong your car has to be able to get this done and put yourself up and into victory lane. As that number 15 of Cameron Combs continues to lead the way. Combs able to quickly take that race lead back away from him. Caleb McKinney trying to hang right there in position number 2, and once again looking down to the inside as here we go. 3 wide here at Texas Motor Speedway. 3 wide racing here this evening with the Outcast Racing League in the Krafts Stuff LLC 235 here from Texas, as everything is bigger in Texas. Everything is absolutely insane in Texas, and right now it is absolutely hot. It is steamy. It is exactly what these drivers want to see. Some just non-stop good hard racing out there on the racetrack. Is Al Reed making some moves, climbing back up into position number 3 here on the racetrack. This is probably the farthest back we've seen Caleb McKinney. Farthest back we've seen Caleb McKinney here today, and Cameron Combs, as they both slide quite a ways back here on this restart. McKinney now back into 4th, Cameron Combs there in 5th, and then we see a few other drivers starting to struggle here. Alfo Castillo, so actually a little strategy out of these drivers, maybe realizing that their cars were still pretty good. They were still running really good, strong laps out there on the racetrack, and that if they stayed out and they didn't come and get tires, they can have that extra set for later in the race. So maybe a little strategy call here for some of these cats, maybe other drivers putting those fresh tires on, just knowing that they want to race their way to the front of the field and have some fun here at the front this afternoon, as that 99 rider Chris Muse able to jump up, take that race lead back away. Cameron Combs slides back into the 6th position on the racetrack, and out in front it is this 99 rider Chris Muse. Muse continuing to lead the way, but Al Reed, the Elite Sim Racing RT3 Designs number 3 machine, Al Reed right there on his back bumper. Reed looking to try to jump up and take position number 2, or take position number 1 away from our race leader here, and move that 99 rider Chris Muse back into Chum back there behind him, looking to put him back in position number 2 on the racetrack, and in behind him is down the back straightaway. He will complete that pass, and unfortunately there, forward back and now into the attack here from the number 20 ride is Ryan Haller making the moves here, and somehow or another this 20 ride finding that extra gear out there on the racetrack, potentially having the better tires out there on the speedway, and he is quickly hunting now the rest of these cats, losing some of that good draft and being able to race his way up here into that 4th spot on the speedway. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make some moves here. He's a little closer to the front of the field. As Al Reed out in front, Al continues to lead the way, but he's got to be very, very honest out there. He's got to be very careful. One slip up, one mistake, one bad call, and all of a sudden you could be back, 3, 4, 5 positions in a quick hurry, and your night could be over in a quick hurry if something else happens, or if you get tied up and tore up out there on the racetrack. So you want to just try to keep yourself clean and green here this evening. As Al Reed continues to lead the way, it is Chris Muse back there in 2nd. The number 23, Ryan Haller there in position number 3 on the racetrack here. Or actually, he's back, Muse is back in 3rd. Ryan Haller there in 2nd, as Haller continuing to just move through the field here, man. This 20 ride's looking pretty sharp, chat. It is looking pretty sharp. It's looking pretty fast out there on the speedway. He continues to inch closer and closer to the front of the field here, and Haller may have a few tricks still up his sleeve here this evening. As Chris Muse back there in 3rd, it's Robert Tuiscu up into 4th. Mike Killing back there in position number 5 on the speedway. Then we see Anthony Garland, Billy Jordan, Caleb McKinney, Devin Black, and Cameron Combs, our top 10 here this afternoon. There's nothing but good, hard racing action here from Texas Motor Speedway. Each and every one of these drivers doing a fantastic job, as I'm going to quickly go take a pee break, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with us as I'm going to go for a quick pee, and we'll be right back here in just a couple more moments. We're going to bring you non-stop racing action, though, here in this one. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back and out on the racetrack. These drivers doing a fantastic job of continuing to battle, continuing to fight out here on the racetrack as we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 2 here this evening. Stage number 2 quickly coming to a close. Out there on the racetrack is out in front now, leading this race. It's Al Reed. Reed at the front of the field, and right behind him, only about 7/10 of a second back, is this 20 ride of Ryan Haller. Haller in position number 2, looking to try to hunt down this number 3 machine, looking to try to put himself up and into the stage win here this evening, as Chris Muse back there in 3rd, Robert Tuiski there in 4th. Anthony Garland up and into position number 5 with Mike Killingback, Billy Jordan, Johnny Thunders, Devin Black, and Caleb McKinney running out our top 10 here in this one. So McKinney back there in that 10th position. We've seen this 76 Ryan fall farther and farther back behind everybody else. Same with the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey, the 15 of Cameron Combs. We've seen him fall all the way back to 15th. Casey Gross right there as well, bringing up the rear of the field. And then we see drivers like Bromfield, Adolfo Castillo, that clearly did not take tires or something there during those pit stops. They're trying to save that extra set for late in this race, and all of a sudden they are quite a ways back here, man. This is a very, very interesting one, knowing that there's a bunch of different strategies, a bunch of different drivers trying to play different things out there on the speedway to try to set themselves up for what could be the winning strategy here this evening. So we'll keep an eye on these guys. We'll keep an eye and see what happens here, especially at the end of this stage as we get closer and closer to the end of this stage there. Down across the line, lap number 46 will be completed, so about 4 laps left to go here in stage number 2 here this afternoon. Haller there in 2nd with Chris Muse in position number 3. Muse, we saw him in that first run. Fell back a little bit off the initial start, kind of got settled in back in about that 4th, 5th position. Looks like he's trying to do the somewhat same thing right here, and then late in that run, really started to work his way back up through all the traffic, through those cars that made the runs around him, and put himself up into position number 2, getting some very solid points on the day, being in position number 2. As we will get them all ready to keep on rocking and rolling here in this one. Using the 99, able to make quick work of that 20 ride, and for Ryan Haller, slides back into position number 3 here this evening. And for Chris Muse, back up into position number 2, but does he have enough time? The first time we saw this happen there at the end of stage number 1, it was virtually the same thing. This car was coming alive, he was coming on strong, and just could not have enough time to hunt down the race leader to try to steal this stage away from him, trying to steal this stage win, and had to settle in for position number 2, and potentially the same thing going to happen here in this one, unless if he can make a charge here and hunt down that 3 machine and put himself into a winning situation out there on the racetrack. As Muse sits there in 2nd, Haller trying to hang on to 3rd here as Robert Tuiski a little farther back there in that RT3 Designs number 6 ride, as the 81 of Anthony Garland right behind him there. Anthony rolls in that 5th position with Mike Killingback, Johnny Thunders, Billy Jordan, Caleb McKinney, Devin Black rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Is Al Reed out in front, the ZZX Digital Lead Sim Racing. Beautiful, beautiful looking ride here for the RT3 Designs crew, and that 3 machine of Al Reed down across the line. He will click off lap number 50, and that is 50 laps in and 60 laps left to go. And as drivers head down across the start finish line, we should see stage number 2 come to a close here in a quick hurry. So we'll have to wait and see. There it is. So caution flag back out on the racetrack. Stage number 2 coming to a close, and it's Al Reed. Al picks up the win here in stage number 2 here this evening. Some great racing, some great action by each and every one of these competitors, and we'll get ready to go back to battle here in just a couple more seconds. We'll get ready to duke it out here once again this afternoon as our second stage break here, our second caution flag for the stage breaks here this evening. No incidences out there on the racetrack. Everyone's been pretty clean and green out there on the speedway. Not a whole lot of tore up race cars or destroyed sheet metal out there in Town Pit Road or on the racetrack. So that's always good news when you can make it virtually halfway through this race, and already having some pretty good tire wear and already having to make a couple pit stops, but getting those under your belt figuring out where you need to be, what you need to order, and how you need to order it to make things that much quicker out there on the racetrack, as we do see that number 3 machine at Al Reed out in front. Here he comes down pit road. As here we go, making the move down pit side, and for the 3 machine, he'll make his way down pit road, and he has a pretty sizable lead here. A couple car lengths still between himself and the 99 ride of Chris Muse. As Muse going to be looking to order in a little bit of a quick pit stop here, hoping to see if he can close that gap and maybe try to beat that 3 machine out of pit lane here to be that control car, the car that gets the fire first down there through that Geico restart zone. It's a vital position to be in, especially late in this race. And you see that a little bit of contact there, a little bit of damage to the right front of that 99 machine. Looks like he'll get that fixed up. The crew will go to work and get that thing pointed back in the right direction, have all that damage repaired, and he'll look to roll back it onto the racetrack. And he does go for a 2-tire pit stop right there. Bold strategy right here for a couple of these drivers. Looked like 2-tire pit stop there for the Fastenal 99 ride, and for Chris Muse, that's going to put him now out in front here. He will be that control car here on the restart. Johnny Thunder's also going for that strategy, and the Krafts Stuff number 60 ride will restart in position number 2. Al Reed back in third with Ryan Haller, Devin Black, Anthony Garland, Robert Tuiscu, Mike Killingbeck, Caleb McKinney, and Billy Jordan running out our top 10 as we'll get ready to rumble here once again here in this one. So the action about to get a little bit wild out there, ladies and gentlemen. Action is about to get right intense here again this evening as our final stage is among us. The final half of this race as we are just about to hit that halfway marker in a lap or two. And for each and every one of these competitors, knowing that we're halfway in, halfway to go, there's still a lot of time. There's still opportunity for a lot of caution flags. But after seeing how those first 2 stints really went there with no yellow flags, everyone is able to keep on running great lap times, keep these cars underneath of them, not really having any spinners or drivers running into problems. And for these drivers, it's really got to affect the strategy here this evening, knowing that it could potentially go clean and green from here on out. You know, what's the right call? What do you do? What do you have to try to figure out to put yourself into the winning situation here late in this race? So we'll have to wait and see how every one of these drivers tries to play it out here, tries to make these moves and try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening as Chris Muse getting ready for the restart to his outside in that very beautiful number 60 machine as the juke joint ride out there on the racetrack, and he rolls in position number 2 right now. And here we go down the back straightaway. The lights are off, the official iRacing pace car, and we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. The green flag about to come back out. Muse, Thunders, Al Reed, Ryan Haller, Anthony Garland, the 7 of Devin Black, Mike Killingbeck, Billy Jordan, Robert Tuiscu, Caleb McKinney, our top 10 enter on the racetrack with Josh Bromfield, Edward Belair, Cameron Combs back in 13th, and then we see Adolfo Castillo, Casey Gross there in 14th, actually in 15th, and then we see Tyler Humphrey right there in that 16th position. So generally these drivers, man, there's a lot of fast cats up in the front. There's also a lot of fast drivers deeper in the field, so it's going to be a little bit interesting to see who's going to be able to get the run, who's going to be able to find the lanes and the gear to put themselves into that victory lane here this evening at Texas Motor Speedway. It's a great restart right there for Chris Muse as Muse back onto the throttle, looking to quickly pull away here from Al Reed. Al looking to try to hang right there with him now. Time and time again during that first and second run, we saw this 99 ride fire off pretty decently. After a lap or 2, he all of a sudden starts to fall back, and he kind of just plays that long game, knowing that he's going to give up a couple positions out there on the racetrack, but not trying to burn up his tires as much as everybody else. And for the last 2 stages out there on the speedway, it's worked out pretty well for this 99 ride, so we'll have to wait and see if he tries to use that same strategy again. Just let that 3 ride go by and maybe allow the 20 ride to scoot on through there as well, and then just wait for his time to strike and be able to earn that out in front. It's on like Donkey Kong. Al Reed to the outside. Al gets a little piece of the outside fence, scrubs off a ton of speed, in the 99 ride of Chris Muse will hang on to the race lead. So Muse out in front, continue to lead the way. Haller right there, putting the pressure on both of them down low. And Ryan Haller looking for the race lead, and down the back straightaway, he will find it. So out in front, now leading this race, is Ryan Haller. Haller, not on the hauler here this evening. He is out in front and continuing to try to open up a bit of a lead between himself and that number 3 Machina Al Reed. Caleb McKinney back up inside the top 3 here, as well as McKinney jumps into position number 3 here this evening. And for our pole sitter, definitely the rebound that he wanted after a compromised couple weeks of racing action for that 76 ride is Adolfo Castillo, the number 25 Edward Belair, Devin Black, Robert Duisco, Casey Gross there in position number 8. Anthony Garland back in 9th, and Chris Muse rounding out our top 10. Now Muse has come down pit road already, so being on those different pit cycles, being on those different pit strategies could either bless you or definitely take beating out on you. And we are Ryan Haller leading the way here in this one, and he's just keeping himself focused here, continue to hit his marks, looking to just keep on keeping all these drivers back there at bay, but he's put that in his roll as here comes that 76 ride of Caleb McKinney, as McKinney right there looking to pounce, ready to make the move, ready to try to put himself back out in front. It seems like it's been a little while, but really it wasn't too long ago that we saw the 76 of McKinney at the front of the field and leading this race. The 20 ride of Haller going to look to keep him back there at bay, as here comes Adolfo Castillo, that poultry shack number 31 right rolls there in third, with Al Reed back into fourth now. And we're Belair there in fifth with the number 6 right there. That's Robert Tuiscu battling with them just outside the top 5 as they are door to door as they're on the racetrack. You'll see Anthony Garland, the number, I think we've got as the 81 right there in that hunt, as well as the 81 machine and the 77 is Gross and Edward Belair, Anthony Garland, all right there on top of each other. A little farther back, you can see Mike Killing back in the 15, Cameron Combs, the 7 of David Black, the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey. They're looking to try to rebound their way back up to the front of the field here in this one, as well as we saw the 9 right lead a couple laps there. We saw obviously the number 99 of Chris Muse leading some laps and winning that second stage, and for all these drivers knowing that they just want to make sure that they have a good run and solid performance and keeping all these guys back there at bay, putting themselves up and into victory lane. That is the goal, that is the accomplishment here in this evening, is non-stop racing action here in this one, as Caleb McKinney out in front is he's continuing to lead the way here. McKinney has been a man on a mission here this afternoon, and now you do see that poultry shack ride of Adolfo Castillo. He's got right up to these guys, and he's putting his name right into the ring here for potentially picking up the win here at the beautiful Texas Motor Speedway, as he's going to be able to slide up, clear that 20 rider Ryan Haller. Haller taking another peek down low, though. Thought about trying to cross him over and jump back down to the inside. That's exactly what he'll do. Unfortunately, cannot get underneath him, cannot make him make a mistake out there, and it looks like that 31 ride is going to keep at second spot on the racetrack, and now Haller back into third. Al Reed there in fourth with Edward Belair. Heck of a run here for Belair as the MMG Detroit Lions number 25 ride jumps up into position number 5. Casey Gross there in 6. Anthony Garland, Robert Tuiscu, Cameron Combs, and Tyler Humphrey are top 10 here in this race, as out in front is already a pretty big gap here between himself and our last place driver. It's about 8 seconds here between our race leader and Johnny Thunders. And for Thunders, he is still on the he's still out there, he's still rolling on the lead lap miraculously, even after having some different pitch strategies, after making some different moves in the 60 ride. Finds himself all the way back in that 16th position. Chris Muse right there with him as the 99 ride got consumed very quickly and sent straight back into the rear of the field here in this one. We'll have to wait and see if Muse can battle back and put himself back up towards the front here in this one, as Caleb McKinney continues to lead the way here. 65 laps completed of this 110 lap race, and that means we got virtually, what do we got? We got like 45 more laps left to go here in this one, ladies and gentlemen. 45 more laps of racing action here from Texas Motor Speedway. As great racing action all around the speedway, and we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out there on the racetrack. These guys giving us the sights and sounds around Texas Motor Speedway here this evening. And right there you saw that contact in the issue. Headed down pit road as green flag pit stops getting underway. And unfortunately, as we saw Al Reed and the number 31 of Adolfo Castillo trying to come down pit road, that 15 ride of Cameron Combs just ends up getting into the back end of that 31 ride. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, we almost had our first caution flag for incident out there on the racetrack. As let's take a look back at it, let's see this contact again between these two. As you take a look, they're trying to get checked up. The 3 ride, the 31, and unfortunately for the 31, he's still up on the racing surface. And the 15 ride just comes in there, big head of steam, not expecting him to be on the racing surface right there. Big contact into the back end of that poultry shack ride. And luckily enough, able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction, keep on rolling, and keep that thing out of the wall and keep on racing here this evening. As now we do see Cameron Combs, who ended up with that pretty good front end damage on that 15 ride. He's now headed down pit road, team with Robert Tuwiscu. That number 12 rider, Josh Bromfield, just rolling out onto the racetrack is Caleb McKinney, who was our race leader as these pit cycles got started. He is still out in front, continuing to lead this race. As technically he's not back out front as of yet, but as he rolls down the front straightaway, Cameron comes in. Tuwiscu still down on pit road. Here he comes right down and around them, and he will take that race lead back away. So Caleb McKinney out in front, continue to lead this race as almost 2.5 seconds between himself and Al Reed. Cameron Combs just rolling back out onto the track as there goes Casey Gross and Adolfo Castillo. Tyler Humphrey right on around that number 15 right as he stayed down on the racetrack there for a couple extra laps, trying to play a little bit different strategy. He's going to give up a lot of track position, and now we're trying to throw a couple blocks right here as the 25 right of Edward Belair and the 81 of Anthony Garland both go right on and around that Rockstar Energy number 15 machine. But now he's built up that speed. He's going to look to see if he can use his fresher tires to try to drive up and around some of these other cats out there on the racetrack. Is Anthony. He was down pit road on lap number 80. He's got 5 lap older tires now compared to Cameron Combs. As Combs getting that thing wound up, we'll see if he can use those fresher tires in that leaner pit stop to his advantage to drive up through the field here later in this race. But the laps are counting down in a quick hurry. As down across the line, lap number 87 off of the board here. We got about 23 laps left in this race. Is my boy Chris Motherfluffin' Pilo. Chris coming in, show the love here in this one. What's good, Mr. Pilo? Chris coming in not only with that like on the stream, but with the big D of the day here in this one. Says best in broadcasting, back with ORL Sundays finest, baby. We love it, mister. We love it. We love seeing you up here in the chat and cheering not only myself, but all these amazing drivers on out there on the racetrack and coming in with the big dono here in this one. I appreciate that, brother. Showing the love here this evening. The 159 star bombing here this evening. And Papa Mike coming in as well with that heart reaction on the broadcast. How are you, Papa Mike? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday as well, Papa Mike. Showing the love here as well. Smashing that heart reaction here on the broadcast as well. As out in front, Caleb McKinney continues to lead the way as Chris with the horns up, baby. Horns up, baby. Rock on, brother. As McKinney continuing to lead this race. Al Reed right there in position number 2. Casey Gross in position number 3 here, trying to hold on to that 3rd spot as Adolfo Castillo right there on his back bumper. Car length between our 3rd and 4th place drivers on the racetrack. Not too far back, you do see Tyler Humphrey in that beautiful apple pie machine rolling there in position number 5 on the racetrack. Edward Belair with a great run here for this 25 right. He rolls there in 6th. We're trying to hold off this Mobile 1 number 15 of Cameron Combs. Cameron looking to make quick work of him. Drives down to the inside of that 25 right. Looking to go door to door down the back straightaway and look to see if he can clear this 25 right down in through 3 and 4. As here comes a big run down to the inside of quarter number 3. And for the 15 right, can he slide up and clear that 25? He's just barely going to be able to do it and clears the 25. But here comes a big run from that 25 right of Edward Belair. there is Belair looking to try to battle back. Is this a heck of a fight for position number 6? And now with a little bit fresher tires here, Cameron Combs going to look to see if he can try to eat up a little bit of that track time here and see if he can close the gap on Tyler Humphrey, close that gap on the race of our race leaders here this evening as Caleb McKinney out in front, continue to lead the way. And that race lead of his still kind of hanging right around that 2.5 second area. Maybe lost about a 1/10 of a second out there compared to Al Reed. So Al maybe slowly trying to reel him in here, but it's going to come down to maybe a late race restart, maybe a late race caution flag to really mix things up here this evening for each and every one of these drivers. So we'll have to keep an eye on them and see what's going to happen and how this one is going to be handled here this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as that 3 machine of Al Reed and all these other drivers in tow trying to hunt down that number 76 ride of Caleb McKinney here today. As Caleb out in front, continue to lead the way. He is the driver to beat here this evening. He is the man with a plan, and he came out here to try to attack this plan and try to keep himself in the winner's circle here this afternoon. And so far, it has been mission accomplished for that number 76 ride. He has been out in front, leading a lot of laps here this evening, and we did see a few other drivers having some good laps, some good times out there, leading some laps themselves. We saw, obviously, early on, Cameron Combs leading some laps, some of these other drivers racing their way up there, leading laps as well. And we saw during some of these pit cycles and some of those pit stops there during our caution, or our stage breaks, leading some laps there as well. So everyone trying to get that extra lap led out there on the speedway. Everyone trying to race their way to the front. We look back a little deeper. We see Ryan Haller here in 13th on the racetrack. He's trying to keep himself on the lead lap, still running strong and only virtually about 17 seconds behind our race leader. So we're half a track away from potentially going a lap down, but it's going to take a lot for our race leader to catch him, as Devin Black unfortunately did have some issues, did go down through the infield there earlier on in that crank it up, and unfortunately he finds himself back in 14th. Johnny Thunders there in 15th. He's also all the way back here for Chris Muse. Chris Muse all of a sudden, what happened to Chris Muse? But Muse was down pit road for an extended period of time here. Actually ended up jumping into the pit, so I'm not sure if he ended up running into problems out there on the racetrack as he jumped down pit road. So let's take a look and see if Muse did have an issue out here in this number. I don't know what happened to him here. Let's play it in reverse. I don't see this car even out on the racetrack yet. Looks like he disappeared, maybe lost connection or something in that 99 ride as the car ended up down pit road. And all of a sudden, he's now down a handful of laps out there on the racetrack, and this is definitely not the spot he wanted to be in here in a playoff race, and now being about 10 laps down here this afternoon to our race leader, and virtually out of this race, out of the competition here tonight, is out in front. Caleb McKinney continuing to lead the way. That 2.5 second gap, it is still there. 2.5 seconds between himself and Al Reed. Casey Gross sitting solidly there in third now as he started to open up a little bit of breathing room between himself and Adolfo Castillo, as Adolfo there in position number 4. Tyler Humphrey hanging on to 5th, but slowly but surely you do see that beautiful rock star ride of Cameron Combs starting to roll his way back up into this fight towards the front of the field. Now he can have the better car, the better tires, and maybe a little bit more speed than some of these drivers, but it's one thing to catch them, it's another thing to be able to make these passes and get around these guys. And the more and more that they fight with them, the more and more they hold him up, is the less positions, the less time he'll have to try to inch away and try to move a little closer, or maybe put this 15 ride back up and onto the podium. So for the 15 ride, that pit strategy, it can either really help him or it can really hurt him here late in this race, and time is starting to run out. Is down across the line. We see only 10 more laps left to go here. So 10 more laps of racing action here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway. That's Caleb McKinney out in front. He's just got this car on cruise control right now, making sure that he hits his marks, doesn't make any mistakes, hoping that if he does hit some of this lap traffic, has been right there in front of him here, and unfortunately for Devin Black, could potentially be going a lap down. We do see Johnny Thunders now down pit road here as well, so a heartbreaker there as it looks like Johnny's gotten up into the outside fence. In for the Krafts Stuff LLC Number 60, Ryan, not the place he wants to be down pit road here and not rolling out there on the racetrack here in the race that's sponsored by the Krafts Stuff LLC here this evening, as it is the Krafts Stuff LLC 235 here this evening. Does that say 265 or 235? I think it's 235. Is that not what the logo shows us? I may have to take another look at that one. That actually just caught my eye. I don't know if it's 235 or 265. It's 265. Yeah, the 265 here this evening. I thought that's what it was. It's out in front, continue to lead the way, continue to click these laps off, man, inching closer to that checkered flag. Just hoping not to see a caution flag, is no yellows for incidents so far here this evening. And for these drivers, they are clicking these laps off in a quick hurry, and we are flying through this race. Oh man, this is another one of these races and these guys just laying down some absolute heater of lap times and just continue to run great laps out there on the racetrack and not really having any issues. No caution flags. We've seen races, extended by 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe even an hour with the amount of caution flags and time under yellow that we spent. But here tonight, that is not the case. These guys are just making easy work of this 110 lap feature event, as down across the line they'll click off another one and 104 laps down and only 6 more laps left to go here for Caleb McKinney, and he's actually grown that race lead out here. It's now 2.7 seconds between himself and Al Reed, so Reed's starting to slide a little farther back behind the 76 right now, as Cameron Combs has worked himself through that gaggle of cars right there. He made quick work of these drivers, and now with 6 laps left to go, about to be 5 laps left to go. He's got about 4 seconds between himself and Al Reed, about 7.5 seconds between himself and Caleb McKinney. So I don't know if he's going to have enough time to even get close to those guys if they hit a late race caution flag. I feel everyone's probably going to come down pit road. I don't think anyone's going to really want to stay out there on the racetrack if they got that extra set of tires. Pit side, as you see this great battle continue to brew here. Kingsley Gross trying to hold on to 4th. That's the 9-rider Tyler Humphrey and Adolfo Castillo duking it out back here for position number 5 on the racetrack. Edward Belair back in 7th with Josh Bromfield, Robert Tuiscu, and Ryan Haller rounding out our top 10 as Mike Killingbeck there in 11th, Billy Jordan back in 12th, Anthony Garland, Devin Black, our top 14 on the racetrack, and then we see Johnny Thunders, unfortunately down pit side. Chris Muse still rolling out there on the racetrack, multiple laps down back in position number 16. As here we go, nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out at corner number 4 for Caleb McKinney. 2.7 seconds, still the gap between himself and Al Reed, and down across the line, you'll see only 3 more laps left to go. 3 more laps left here in this one, in the Krafts Stuff LLC 265 from Texas Motor Speedway. And these drivers, man, they are on a mission here today. Some great racing action, non-stop green flag racing, and each and every one of these competitors doing a fantastic job. Is that beautiful Quantum Peacemaker Gaming number 76 ride the Outcast Racing League, Garner Mountain number 76. These 2 laps left to go down across the line here. So only a couple more laps left here for Caleb McKinney. Now the only thing he does not want to see right now is a caution flag. The gap has grown to over 3 seconds between himself and Al Reed as Al continues to slide farther and farther back behind this 76 rider for McKinney. He's just trying to get to that white flag as quickly as possible. As down and out of corner number 4, he will see that white flag fly, and this will be our final lap here this evening. The next flag will be the checkered flag, no matter what. No caution flags will be thrown from this point forward. As the 76 rounds corner number 1 and out of 2, you'll take us down the Texas Motor Speedway back straightaway for the final time here this evening in the Krafts Stuff LLC 265 here this evening in the Outcast Racing League. It's Caleb McKinney who will pick up the checkered flag here at Texas. As McKinney gets it done and picks up the win here this afternoon. Caleb McKinney, our race winner, in a rapid pace being able to get this checkered flag. The number 76 finds victory lane, and he will get ready to party hardy down here in Texas, as there is no limits here at Texas, and there is no limits the amount of joy that this 76 ride is feeling right now. And for all the drivers back there behind them, there is no limits on how frustrated they are not being in this position and taking that win away from the 76 as Al Reed comes home back in position number 2. Cameron Combs there in 3rd. Tyler Humphrey ended up in position number 4 with Adolfo Castillo there in 5th. Casey Gross in position number 6. Maybe showed a little displeasure there with Tyler Humphrey on how they were running right there and how he got ran out there on the racetrack as he'll head down pit road back to his pit stall. Same with Edward Belair, our 7th place finisher. Here comes Josh Bromfield and the 6th rider, Robert Tuwiscu. As Tuwiscu has got pretty good damage there on the front end of that car, and luckily enough for the ESR machine, able to round out our top 9 on the racetrack. And for Ryan Haller coming home there in 10th. Great run there for Ryan Haller. Great run for Billy Jordan, Mike Killingbeck, Anthony Garland, Devin Black, Chris Muse, and Johnny Thunders as they round out our field here this evening. And out in front, celebrating the win here at Texas, it is the 76 of Caleb McKinney who gets the win. And he will burn down the house here, Texas style. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for the 76 ride as Caleb McKinney gets the win, gets the dub here in the Krafts Stuff LLC 265. What a run and what a drive there for Caleb. What a run and drive by the entire series. All these drivers put on heck of a show, heck of a race here this afternoon, man. These guys put on a absolutely amazing race for all of us to enjoy here this evening. We'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here this afternoon. We'll wait for them to jump in there. Here is our race winner. He's in there. Caleb McKinney, our race winner, up and into the booth. And Caleb, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Caleb, man, what a run, what a drive. Take us back through this one, man, as this race went down in history in a quick hurry. As you guys were just able to keep it clean and green, keep running absolutely heater lap times out there, and obviously seeing only the 2 caution flags for the stage breaks, and you're able to, just play this pit strategy perfectly. Keep yourself out in front, lead a lot of laps here, and then in this final run, just start to pull away, open that bit of a gap, and then we see those green flag pit stops. You come back out with about 2.5 seconds, and then you just look to, mind that gap out there between yourself and Al Reed. Not really giving up anything, not really taking too much away there until those final 10 laps or so, where you start to really open up that lead a little bit more, lap after lap after lap, and it allows you to just set this thing into cruise control and drive your way up into victory lane.
Oh yeah, man. This was a really fun race, and just from the start of the race, I was starting up front, so I just tried to just hold my own and not let everybody just run off and leave me at the start due to tire saving and everything for the second stint. But I let Cam get out there a little bit, and once my tires started to feel a little bit better, I started to chase him down and pass him. And that's pretty much how I got the stage win on lap 25 or something. And starting up on a second stage, didn't take any tires, and ended up working out and got 1 stage point to end it. And from there, I took tires on that last restart, and it worked out well. And I just would like to thank Casey, Adolfo, Mike, and Edward for the good team strategy tonight, and yeah.
Yeah, great team strategies. A lot of your teammates up there inside the top 5, top 10 here this evening. We saw them duking it out back there behind you. But you're just a man on a mission, continuing to just keep that lead, keep on rolling out there on the speedway. And what was kind of going through your mind there late in this race, knowing that you did not want to see that caution flag, you did not want to see an issue where potentially you saw all these drivers get back to your rear bumper?
Oh yeah. Just at the end of the race, it was just looking in my mirror, checking to see where Al was at, and just maintaining that gap. And I was crossing my fingers that the caution would not come out with 3 or 4 laps to go. But if it did, I had another set and to put on the car and run it. So yeah, overall it was a fun race, and I'm looking forward to Chicago and next week.
Absolutely, Chicago Lane going to be another fun one, going to be another great race there, as we'll see a lot more door-to-door, 2-wide, 3-wide racing action, and looking for yourself and all these other drivers to have another fantastic run like you guys did here today, running 110 laps virtually, issue-free, caution-free out there on the speedway. And for Caleb yourself, you're able to put yourself up and into victory lane here. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank for such a great run here this afternoon?
Oh, for sure, man. I'd like to thank Anthony Garland for putting this league out there and making it possible for us to race, and the racing to be this good. It's just fun. And I'd also like to thank again the Quantum Motorsports team for helping me all the way.
Absolutely, brother. Well, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening. Congratulations on getting the win here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Krafts Stuff LLC 265. And we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack in the next one, and hopefully right back up here in victory lane.
For sure, man. Take care.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Caleb McKinney. Is McKinney picking up the dub and parking that 76 right up and into victory lane. As now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher. It's Al Reed. Al coming home in position number 2. Let's pull Al up here into the booth. Hey, Al, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Come on, Aaron. How are you getting on, lad?
Not too bad, brother. How are you?
I'm good now. I'm good. I was on the bog today, but very, very tired. But I'm feeling a lot better now after getting P2 there.
Yeah, definitely wakes you up a little bit when you can have a great run out there on the racetrack, man. Take us back through this one. It's obviously a lot of different pitch strategies, a lot of different stage strategies out there, and then late in this race, just trying to, keep your tires underneath of you, but at the same point in time, trying to inch your way and trying to hunt down that 76 ride. But man, oh man, he was a rocket ship here this evening, and you just couldn't quite do anything with him there. Just hoping to see maybe that late race caution flag to balance things out tire-wise and maybe give yourself another shot at beating him here today.
No, fair play to Caleb. Like he managed the gap towards the end very, very well. Like I would gain a tenth and he would pull away 2 tenths, and then I might gain another tenth and he would pull away 3 tenths. And yeah, he managed the gap very, very well. So fair play to him on that. Obviously, he saved his tires a bit better than I did. But Jesus, the first stage there, I shredded my tires. That was pure mud underneath me. Like couldn't do anything with them. But stage 2, I was able to save him after obviously getting new set of tires, and then towards the end, then it's just like I could feel him going, and I just couldn't keep up with Caleb. No, fair play to Caleb. Like, he's a solid, good driver there. Like, so he totally deserved to win.
Definitely a very good car here today, and a very good driver every single week out there on the racetrack. And gotta take us back through this one. I know, I don't know if you're still a part of the admin group or not here, but I know for a long time you were. How does it feel to be able to jump out there and only see the caution flags for stages? No issues out there on the racetrack during this feature event. No caution flags through 110 laps of racing action at a very hot, slick Texas Motor Speedway, where these tires are starting to shred and fall apart and everything else, but everyone will hang on to it and keep us clean and green here this evening.
Yeah, it tells me that there's a bit more give and take with the drivers in the league. You have someone who is willing to give up a position, and you have someone who's kind of going to take the position, I guess, but it's good, because if you have 2 guys going to take a position, someone has to give in at some stage around the corner. But it was good. We had no cautions for wrecks or anything like that, so it was good that everyone was able to keep running. You don't mind the odd caution here or there type of thing. But no, it was fun. It was actually pretty good to get it done in such a nice amount of time,
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. Is now I got so much time before my next broadcast, brother. That was almost too quick out there on the racetrack. No, I'm just kidding, man.
You'll have to get a Guinness now, or get a drink for yourself.
Oh yeah, I might have to have a couple. I don't have any Guinness. I got a couple Miller Genuine drafts, but other than that, maybe not. I don't like to slur my words too much, and I don't drink very often. So my second broadcast may be a little bit sloppy if I get pounded back a couple beers beforehand.
Nothing wrong with it. You ever tried Guinness before, did you?
I don't know. I don't think I have. I've tried a couple different, darker beers. But, I think they're just, more, I don't know, I wouldn't say knockoffs, like specialty craft beers, and I never really liked those, and I kind of thought Guinness is probably something around the same. Maybe one of these days I'll buy a can or something like that, like a single can, and give it a try.
You do, but I was saying this to Jamie when I was in Florida with him. You know, when you pour the drink, pour a Guinness, you gotta leave it a few seconds, well, maybe a minute or two, just to settle. But your first sip of the drink, it has to be like a full mouthful, like it has to be like a good gulp, you know, and then you can sip the pint the rest of the way. That's the way you're meant to drink Guinness.
All right. All right. I'll have to give it a try, Al. I'll take your word for it, brother. Maybe I'll videotape it, so if I throw up or something, you guys can get a laugh out of it.
That's all good.
Heck of a run, heck of a drive here for you as you parked that 3 machine up. You're in position number 2, back up on the podium here today in that Outcast Racing League. Man, who would you like to thank for such a solid run, solid drive out there on the racetrack?
As always, man, you gotta thank the drivers. The drivers, you know, they come out every week and do it. Obviously, thank yourself, Anthony, for putting up the league, the admins. Gotta thank the boys in ESR. Cam is such a great help in the team, same as Tuisco. And Kurt's not here today, but his mother is actually sponsoring this race, so that was pretty cool to see. But I do want to give a special shout out to my 2 boys, Jake and Aiden. They might be watching us later on, so if they are watching later on, they're going to be excited to hear their names being called out on YouTube, because obviously YouTube is the king now, you know, but especially with kids.
Absolutely, brother. So shout out to them and shout out to you, Al. Heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe one spot better in the next one, and in victory lane yourself.
Yeah, appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks very much, dude, for all you do. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Al Reed. Is Al coming home there in position number 2? Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that ESR number 3 machine there, that beautiful RT3 Designs ride here this afternoon as we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher here, Cameron Combs. Cameron waiting down patiently pit side. Let's pull Cameron up here into the booth. Hey, Cameron, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Cameron, man, another solid run, another great race here for you. We saw you leading some laps. We saw you try to run some different pit strategies out there. And obviously, you know, during the most final pit stop of the day, during the long green flag run here in the final stage of this race, you weren't coming down pit road, but there's a couple of drivers in front of you that elected to come down pit side, and one of them unfortunately kind of stayed out there on the racetrack a little bit. You end up getting into the back end there of Adolfo Castillo, almost bringing out our first caution flag for incident here this evening, but both the guys able to hang on to it, keep on rolling, but unfortunately some pretty good damage to the front end of your car, some pretty solid contact there to the back end of his car, and I think that really killed a lot of time there for you. And I know that pit strategy, you were trying to run it out there, but I think that 8 seconds or so that you are behind Caleb McKinney might have been caused from that contact. Can you take us back through that? What's kind of going through your mind after this race?
Yeah, I wasn't really. I knew Al was pitting, and Casey called out his pit, and Adolfo just I kind of expected him to go high and not just check up, but yeah, I felt really bad for getting into him there because we had some good racing there, but I ended up just getting a 4X from it. I didn't really, according to my pit box, I didn't have any repairable damage, so yeah, I think I lost a little bit of time to Caleb there, and I was just trying to save my stuff there towards the end of that first run there in the last stage, and yeah, it sucks that happened, but I'm glad that me and Adolfo kind of walked away from it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great day when you guys are able to keep your cars from, you know, not going around right there in a very treacherous spot on the racetrack where you can easily get T-boned and taken out of a race in an instant there. And luckily enough, both cars able to keep on rolling. You're able to keep on racing here. He's up there battling and still getting the top 5 here. You are parking it up on the podium. So, you know, no harm, no foul. Everyone kept on moving and grooving here this evening. And for yourself, you're able to just kind of settle in there there. We see you come out of pit lane. You're back in about that 7th, 8th position, and then slowly but surely start to use those fresher tires up. You start to work yourself through these guys. Obviously, battling hard, getting through, you know, Casey and Adolfo, Tyler Humphrey right there, as that was a big gangle to get through, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, you know, staring down the barrel, seeing that 3 ride of Al Reed and Caleb McKinney so far in front of you, and there's not a whole lot of laps left, man. What was kind of going through your mind there as you were able to get through those guys, find yourself in 3rd, and just knew that you're kind of stuck there unless a caution flag came out?
Yeah, the way I came out of pit road, I was a little bit slower than, I think it was Anthony and the 25, and the way it happened to be, I kind of pulled out in front of him, which I didn't really mean to do, but yeah, I kind of worked my way up. I was trying not to push super hard, but I was trying to catch him, and kind of worked my way past Adolfo and Tyler and Casey. And I cut the gap down to Caleb from, I think it was 9 seconds when I came out, down to, what was it, like 7 at the end there, 6.5. I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to catch him. I probably should have pitted when everybody else did, but I was just trying to do something a little bit off strategy. I had another set of tires there. I was kind of hoping a yellow would come out towards the end, but all in all, it was a solid points day.
Yeah, solid points day, solid day at the racetrack, and here you are able to finish it off up and in position number 3. Cameron, who would you like to thank for such a solid run out there on the racetrack here at Texas Motor Speedway?
I just got to thank ESR, thank all the admins for putting this on, Anthony, Brom, Al, Casey. Without them, this wouldn't be possible, and thank the sponsor, Krafts Stuff. I know Kurt wasn't here. Kurt usually runs the Krafts Stuff car, but it was nice putting on a good show for them, not having many cautions. Thank all the league sponsors, RT3, N Sea. Yeah, everybody that puts this together. Thank you for broadcasting. As always, you always do an amazing job. And
absolutely, brother. Well, Cameron, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you out there on the racetrack, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the next one. Hopefully, right back up here into the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better for yourself and up in victory lane.
Yeah, definitely.
Cameron, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, brother.
Thank you, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, Cameron Combs. Combs coming home in position number 3 here in this one. And you heard all these amazing drivers. They talked about our sponsor here this evening, Krafts Stuff. So we're going to get a quick little look in here at the Krafts Stuff, as we are going to call it a night there. As we call it a night, we're going to get the Outcast series partners up onto the screen. We're going to get a little bit of music playing, but we're also going to have their information up for Krafts Stuff. Huge shout out to them for coming on board, becoming a part of the series here and sponsoring this race. So huge shout out to Krafts Stuff LLC here for the 265 this afternoon, man. That's a heck of a race, heck of a show, heck of a battle out there. We love seeing the Krafts Stuff LLC ride out there as well. The Krafts Stuff ride of Johnny Thunder still rolling out there. We talked about, Cameron was just talking about how normally we see Kurt Sponsler rolling that Krafts Stuff ride out there on the racetrack. It was great to see Johnny Thunders throw that on here tonight, as Kurt wasn't here, and we still got to see at least one of the Krafts Stuff rides out there on the racetrack here in their race. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here in this one. The racing action has concluded. Post-race pit interviews are now coming to an end, and now we get to get ready for our second broadcast of the day. We'll be back in the booth at around 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be back in action. We'll see a few of these drivers in this series in the next race as well, so make sure you guys have those bell notifications turned on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines. thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand, chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand, chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Engine roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Engines roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand, chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand, chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.